Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the internet, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea. It is an honor and a privilege to have you guys joining me here today, and big stuff in the movies. I mean, look, when you talk about business stuff, that's not the sexy part of Hollywood. I get it, but this whole drama with Comcast and Disney and Fox has just gotten real. Like, real. Whole bunch of other things going on in the world of movie news as well. So before we get to anything else, let's get things kicked off with today's movie news feed. First up, the drama surrounding the battle between Disney and Comcast over Fox just took a very dramatic turn. We've known for a few weeks that Comcast intended to submit a bid for Fox that would be higher than the offer Disney made, but they simply crushed Disney's offer. From Variety, Comcast on Wednesday offered $65 billion for the bulk of 21st Century Fox's TV and studio assets, topping a previous $52.4 billion bid for the properties by the Walt Disney Company and likely setting off a bidding war between the two media giants. The aggressive maneuver, if successful, would marry Comcast's NBC broadcast network and the Universal Movie Studio with the FX cable network 20th Century Fox, a lucrative group of regional sports networks, and a stake in British satellite broadcaster Sky. Comcast said its offer was valued at $35 per share in cash, representing a premium of approximately 19% to the value of Disney's all-stock offer. Fox late Wednesday afternoon confirmed it had received the offer, but made no additional comment. You cannot overemphasize how huge this move is by Comcast. Now, I think a lot of us expected that Comcast would put in a higher bid than Disney's $52 billion bid, like maybe about 4 or 5. I expected it to be close to $60 billion, just to put a little bit of buffer in there. I was not expecting $65 billion. That is $13 billion, or very close to $13 billion more than Disney offer, and Comcast's offer is in cash, not in stock. Now, again, we've been talking about this for a few days. Some people have been trying to make the argument, well, Disney's stock is worth more because the value will go up. Well, guess what? If you're Fox, you can take that $65 billion and buy Disney stock if you want and still have $13 billion left over. This move is huge. I believe Comcast, by coming in with a bid this big, like it said in the report, 19% over what Disney's bid is, I believe Comcast is sending a message to Disney, basically saying, we are playing hardball. We're not here just to dance around and bid maybe $2 billion more. They came in with a bid $13 billion over what Disney offered. Now, this puts Disney in an interesting position. Now they've got to try to come out and offer something better. That means something probably in the neighborhood of the $70 billion range. That's almost $20 billion more than they were originally offering. Now, it's also important to keep in mind this. Disney's net worth right now is around $98 billion. It's got a market cap of about $158 billion, but its net worth at the moment, from all the reports I've read, is around $98 billion. How much can Disney actually offer? Like, at some point, even for a company like Disney, a certain amount has to be too much that they can actually pay for. At some point, the price tag gets big enough or bigger than what you think the worth is of what you're getting. And I believe this 100%. If Disney does not counteroffer, if Disney doesn't up their bid and come in over Comcast at $65 billion, I 100% believe that the Fox shareholders are going to vote to turn down Disney's offer, and then they're going to vote to accept Comcast's offer. At $13 billion more, there's just no way a shareholder can turn that down. 19% more money. 19%, that is huge. So what will happen? Will Disney come back with a bigger offer? And if so, is Comcast willing to trump that? It is absolutely scary to think how big these numbers can get. And look, I'm absolutely positive that the other day, the court ruling in favor of AT&T for their acquisition of Time Warner to go through, that probably gave Comcast a lot of confidence that they could come in big and strong with their bid, knowing that they probably wouldn't face any government interference along the way. This drama is just getting started. It's getting really interesting. So yeah, now we've got probably a couple of weeks before Disney has to come back with what their counteroffer is going to be. Next up, Actor Ewan McGregor will soon be hitting the big screen as the adult version of a beloved child character when he appears in Christopher Robin when the film opens on August 3rd. Now it appears he'll be playing another one, as it is now being reported that McGregor will play the adult version of Danny Torrance, the kid in The Shining, in the upcoming sequel project Dr. Sleep. From coming soon, Dr. Sleep is set to be directed by Mike Flanagan, making it his second Stephen King adaptation after his acclaimed work on Gerald's Game. Warner Brothers will release the movie on January 24th, 2020. Published 36 years after The Shining, Dr. Sleep follows an adult Danny Torrance from the original novel. Haunted by the inhabitants of the Overlook Hotel, where he spent one horrific childhood year, Dan has been drifting for decades, desperate to shed his father's legacy of despair, alcoholism, and violence. Finally, he settles in a New Hampshire town, an AA community that sustains him, and a job at a nursing home where his remnant shining power provides crucial final comfort to the dying. One of the interesting things about this particular story is that Stephen King himself said that Dr. Sleep, this story that this movie is going to be based on, is basically him getting back to balls to the wall, keep the lights on kind of horror. So I don't really know much about the story of it, but if Stephen King is saying this is going to be keep the lights on kind of horror, you got to take that kind of seriously. On top of all that, I love hearing Ewan McGregor's being attached to this. First of all, it's amazing the stuff we've been seeing coming out of Christopher Robin. But Ewan McGregor has been proving for decades he's a terrific actor, like just top notch when he is really on his game. And we're likely to see him come back as Obi-Wan Kenobi pretty soon. But I think seeing him in something like this, some kind of a thriller horror kind of film, this could be really interesting to see, because I can't really recall seeing him in anything like directly like this, but there have been a few roles that have been a little bit similar. But either way, I think this is terrific casting. I'm looking forward to seeing this. Next up, as most of you know, the upcoming M. Night Shyamalan film Glass is a sequel to both Unbreakable and 2017 Split, and will feature Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, and James McAvoy. Shooting on the film has been complete for some time now, and in a recent interview, Samuel L. Jackson talked a little about watching James McAvoy perform in the movie when he said the following: "As good as I like to think I am, or what I do and how I do it, watching somebody transform characters in front of your eyes and have an argument with 4 different people is pretty amazing." Glass is set to hit theaters on January 18th, 2019, almost exactly 2 years after the release of Split, which debuted on January 26th of 2017. And why not release in January? They only released the last one in January and made almost $280 million on a $9 million budget. Yes, Split had a $9 million budget, made almost $280 million. January's been good to them, so it seems like a good idea for them to go back to January as well. It is really neat hearing an actor like Samuel L. Jackson, who has been around. He's an Academy Award nominated actor. He's 69 years old. He's been doing this for decades, and he's great at what he does. To hear a guy like that sit back and talk about how he just loved watching this other actor work. And James McAvoy, I think a lot of people have been picking up on the fact that not only is he kind of a bankable star, he is a terrific talent and he can do so much. There was a lot of people who actually felt that James McAvoy maybe deserved an Academy Award nomination for playing this character in Split. Now, I thought it was close. I didn't think he should have got a nomination, but he was absolutely brilliant in it. Obviously, a lot of us have some very high expectations for this film. We loved Unbreakable. We really like Split. We're hearing all these great things about James McAvoy. We're going to find out pretty soon how it all pays off. And once again, just the fact that you're hearing a guy like Samuel Jackson talking this way, that's got to get you excited. And finally, as some of you will remember, a few months ago, a new Melissa McCarthy comedy titled Superintelligence was announced, and yesterday, the voice of the title character was revealed. According to reports, late-night host James Corden, who can currently be seen in the film Ocean's 8 in theaters now, will be providing the voice for the film's title antagonist. From The Hollywood Reporter, Ben Falcone, Melissa McCarthy's husband, is directing the movie written by Stave Mallory, in which McCarthy will play a former corporate executive whose earnest yet unfulfilled life is turned upside down when she is selected for observation by the world's first superintelligence, a form of artificial life that may be on the verge of taking over the world. Corden will be heard as an all-powerful AI voice that speaks through various outlets during the course of the movie, which is scheduled for release on Christmas Day 2019. I want to be more excited about this movie. I really do, because the principle of it, the premise, sounds like it could be interesting. And Melissa McCarthy, she's a little bit hit and miss, but when she hits, she's really great. I actually really like Spy, that one film she was in, Spy. But she's a little bit hit and miss, but when she's on, she can be very, very, very good. However, I simply cannot get excited about this movie because, once again, it's being directed by her husband, Ben Falcone. Look, and he only gets director's gigs for movies that his wife is starring in. That should tell you something. And whether it's Tammy or The Boss, we should just learn by now that he's not good at directing this stuff. And until I see something to present otherwise, I don't believe there's any reason to be enthusiastic about this. Look, it's a big shining red flag in the air when nobody else hires this guy to direct stuff, except for when probably Melissa McCarthy forces production companies to use him as the director. I mean, I can't back that up. I'm sheerly speculating here. But come on. Almost everything that he's directed has been movies that his wife is starring in, and everything he's directed that starred his wife hasn't been all that good. So seriously, he can't bring the best out of his wife. He's not that gifted of a director. I simply cannot get excited about that. I want to. I think the addition of James Corden as the voice is a really nice addition. Even though I did not like Peter Rabbit, him as the voice of Peter Rabbit worked pretty well. He does pretty good with voices. So I think he would do really well in this. The premise is good. Melissa McCarthy can be really on. But the simple fact that they're getting Ben Falcone to direct simply takes all interest out of me. Now, look, when the movie comes out, I'll go and I'll give it a fair shot. Absolutely. Leave your expectations at the door. I'm just saying at this point, though, we've seen it now, 3 times? This is a bad mixture. I don't know why any studio agrees to let him direct her films. It shouldn't happen, and I'm not expecting good things out of this one. And that'll do it for today's installment of the Movie News Feed. And now you are all caught up to date on all the things going on in the world of movie news. I'm sure you guys are going to want to talk more about this Comcast Disney thing when we get to the live questions. But for now, let's go to the main part of our show. Of course, the main part of our show are topics that you guys send in to me. How do you send in a topic or a question to be on the John Campea Show? It's simple. Just email me anytime at john@thejohncampeashow.com. Once again, that's john@thejohncampeashow.com. Put the word topic in the subject line and keep your emails, guys, to 90 words or less, or else it's too long and I wouldn't even be able to fit it on the screen. All right, let's get to the first topic today. And the first topic today comes to us from one of our Patreon supporters, Mike Schwab, who writes, on the topic of shows like Lucifer being canceled while lower rated shows like Gotham continue, are we ignoring the fact that TV shows, like movies, have different budgets? Isn't it possible that the cost of making a show like Lucifer is very high compared to Gotham? Well, I mean, okay, let's just talk in principle for a second. Can some shows be more expensive to make than other shows? Absolutely. Absolutely. In this specific situation, like generally, yes, some shows can cost more than other shows to make. Yes. In this specific situation, there is no way that a show like Gotham is less expensive to make than a show like Lucifer. Like if you watch Lucifer, you know, they basically do it on a shoestring budget. Every once in a while, like every 3 or 4 episodes, they'll throw in an angel's wing visual effect for a second. But that's about it. It's a very low budget show that, good production quality, don't get me wrong, as opposed to Gotham, which they have a whole lot more elements in Gotham. So I can't possibly see it. But yes, generally speaking, you're right. We do need to look at certain television shows and understand that, hey, some shows may cost more than others to make. It's not like every television show has a budget of $500,000 an episode. Some will cost more than others. And there are other unique circumstances surrounding something like Lucifer and things like that, which hopefully will be on Amazon soon. Last we heard, of course, is that Amazon is talking to the producers of Lucifer to maybe bring Lucifer over to Amazon, which would be awesome if that happens. Anyway, but in this specific situation, I have a hard time believing that would be the case when you look at the two shows side by side. All right, let's move on to the second topic. And the second topic today comes to us from Randy K. And Randy K writes, hey, John, love the show. Thank you so much, Randy. I was on Twitter today and saw a tweet from Louis Tan saying, I've joined the DCEU, and he had a bunch of Batman comics in his hand. Do you think he could be the new Batman? All right, so for those of you who do not know, Louis Tan he just played Shatterstar in Deadpool 2, and he was in one episode of Iron Fist, and he was like the drunken dude, I'm trying to remember the character's name. And he fought Iron Fist. And actually, Louis Tan was in the running to be the lead in Iron Fist. He got quite far in the audition process and he almost played Danny. He almost played the lead character in the show. He didn't get it, but the producers liked him enough that they gave him like a villain role in one episode and all that kind of stuff. And I thought he was very funny in Deadpool 2. I thought it was really funny. So, yes, basically what happened, he put up this picture on his social media and says, I'm in DC now, or something like that. And he's carrying Batman comics. And it is crazy, the swirl of, is he the new Batman? Is he the new Batman? Is he the new Batman that went around? Look, there are 40 different roles to be played, maybe times 10. 40 different roles times 10 to be played in DC Universe, maybe even in different Batman projects. And then, even then, we don't know what he's talking about. Is he talking about an animated series? Is he going to be the voice of Batman in an animated series? Is he going to be the voice of a Robin? Is he going to be the voice of a Poison Ivy? I mean, we just don't. Is he going to be the voice of Random Cop number 5? Or maybe he's going to be in a live-action adaptation. But that doesn't mean he's going to be Batman. Look, is it possible that you're looking at the new Batman? I'm sure. There is, in an infinite universe, there is possibility that he's that. But I don't think we should rush to think, hey, just because he says, I'm in DC and I'm going to be playing a character, we shouldn't rush to think he's going to take the title character. Is it possible? Sure, possible. But I don't suspect that that's the case. But I am curious to see whatever role it's going to end up being. I like the guy. I think he's smooth. His martial arts are great. I think he's got a great look. I like the way he communicates. Just when I see him in Deadpool 2 or seeing him in Iron Fist, he communicates very well too. Like, there's just something about him. The screen likes this guy. So it's going to be interesting to see what it is. I don't think it's actually Batman, unless it's like voicing an animated character, something like that. But again, let's not rush to conclusions here. It could be 1,000 different projects and 1,000 different roles. So I don't think there's anything here to tell us that it's Batman. And really, if he was just cast as Batman, do you think Warner Brothers would let him put a social media post like that up? I really don't think so. So I'm going to guess not, but hey, never know. Stranger things have happened. All right, let's move on to the final email today before we go to our live questions. And the final email today comes to us from Jay from England. And Jay from England writes, Hey John, big fan of the show from the UK. Thank you so much, Jay. My question relates to trailers for movies that aren't out until 2019. Dumbo's trailer arrived today but isn't released for 9 months. And last week, How to Train Your Dragon. I know studios want the word out early, but films like Aquaman that are out this year don't have a trailer yet. Is this odd to you at all? Well, I mean, look, I've actually been saying for a long time, and we're seeing a bit of a shift. I've been saying for a long time that we need to have a shift in Hollywood marketing strategies, because trailers for movies started coming out earlier and earlier and earlier and earlier. And it got to the point that we would be like a year away from a movie coming out and people online would be going, where's the trailer for that movie? It's like, the movie doesn't come out for a year, but where's the trailer? Because they've been pushing it earlier and earlier and earlier. Now, a couple years ago, maybe about 2 years ago, I started to recognize a little bit of a shift. Like, I think studios are realizing there is simply no point to putting out trailers 13 months, 12 months, 11 months in advance. There's just no point to it. Yes, you get everybody talking about it, but then the next trailer comes out for the next movie and everybody's talking about that movie instead, and all the buzz you generated for that movie by putting out a trailer a year early disappears and it's gone. It's wasted. You're blowing your load. I mean, there's no point to it. And I think studios have started to recognize that. Now, I still think the sweet spot for a big film to release your first trailer is about 6 months out. I think a good half a year is a good time to put out your first trailer. I mean, I go back to it a lot, and this is a rare example, but it goes to the point. I remember John Wick didn't put out its first trailer until 1 month before the movie came out. I mean, that was cutting it a little bit close. And maybe movies should not wait that long. But yeah, I don't get it. And while I liked the Dumbo trailer very much, I would have liked it just as much if they released it 2 months from now. You know? And it probably would have had more lasting benefit if you released that trailer a little bit closer to when the movie actually comes out. Because as much as I love that Dumbo trailer, 3 months from now, I'm going to forget about it. And we'll still be 6 months away from the movie. So what was the point? You know, I really believe that studios need to start shrinking the window of when they start putting these trailers out. I'm not saying don't start putting out your trailers till 2 months before the movie. I'm not saying that. But I think, Aquaman has got it right. I mean, if they release the trailer sometime between now and Comic-Con, I think that's the perfect sweet spot of a window. I really do. I think that's a perfect sweet spot of the window. But, every movie's going to have a different strategy. Every marketing team will have a different strategy for every unique movie. And we'll see. And you know what? Trends will ebb and flow. We'll get longer periods of trailers. We'll get shorter periods of trailers. Right now, I think we're getting towards a shorter window, and I think that's good for the industry. We'll just kind of have to wait and see how that all turns out. All right, guys, I got about 10 minutes left here to take some live questions. So let's go over to the live questions you guys have been sending in, and we are going to get things started with Jay Bling, who writes, I saw a video of Celine Dion's Ashes played over Spectre's opening credits. Made it so much better than that Sam Smith song. It's my wedding song. You know what? Okay, here's the thing. The Sam Smith, one hell of a vocalist. One hell of a singer. Wasn't so big on his opening theme. Especially when you were coming off that Adele opening theme for that one Bond movie, and then the Sam Smith one just fell flat. I would love to see this video of playing Celine Dion's Ashes. That song's awesome. People, when the music video for Ashes first dropped, of course it's to Deadpool 2. And if you haven't seen the music video Ashes, go on YouTube and watch it. It's great. Anyway, I remember when that trailer first dropped, a bunch of people asked me, you think this song should be nominated for Best Song at the Academy Awards? I'm like, whoa, slow down. We're still like a year away from the Academy Awards. Like, let's wait. But you know what? The more I listen to that song, I'm like, you know what? The industry is going to be hard-pressed to have 5 other better songs come out in movies this year than Ashes for Deadpool 2. And you know what? I do believe. I mean, I always say, don't talk about Oscars this early on, and normally that's completely true. But in this one circumstance, I really do believe that when we get to the 2019 Academy Awards, that I believe is being held in February, I honestly believe we're going to see Celine Dion on stage performing Ashes. And I just hope that Ryan Reynolds, dressed as Deadpool, comes out on stage and does the dancing and takes off the mask at the end to reveal it was actually Ryan Reynolds. I hope they do that. I think it would be killer. They missed out on a huge opportunity, I think, at last year's Academy Awards for, what was it? Oh yeah, This Is the Greatest Show from The Greatest Showman. That not to nominate it for an award, but to open the show with This Is the Greatest Show. They missed a huge opportunity. I hope they don't miss another huge opportunity here because this would just be perfect. All right, let's move on here. Bobby M. writes, it seems the fish out of water situation in Wonder Woman 84 will be reversed. Could be a lot of fun. Do you think keeping that element was a priority? I don't know. Fish out of water is whether you're talking about a Crocodile Dundee or you're talking about a Wonder Woman or the hundreds of other films that have used it, fish out of water themes really do work. When done right. When done right, the fish out of water themes really do work. And we saw it in the last Wonder Woman film with Wonder Woman leaving Themyscira for the first time and being in London and ooh and ah, this is also different. And we absolutely got a sense of that in the picture that Patty Jenkins released of Steve Trevor in 1984 in a mall. And you could just see the look on his face like, it's priceless. I mean, it's perfect. Was it a priority to do fish out of water? I don't know. I think it was a priority to bring Chris Pine back because acting-wise, he did all the heavy lifting in Wonder Woman. And the chemistry he and Gal had was actually quite good. And especially since he got to carry most of the dramatic weight. So I think bringing him back was a priority. Whether fish out of water was a priority too or not, I don't know if that was a priority or if that's just a happy coincidence that they get to capitalize on that motif again. But you certainly... Now, there are still people out there who are absolutely convinced that that's not Steve Trevor. That it's actually... No, it's Steve Trevor's grandson. No, it's... blah, blah, blah. Well, all I know is that Patty Jenkins in her tweet said, welcome to 1984 Steve Trevor. And you got Steve Trevor there looking like he's shot, like in an 80s mall, looking like he doesn't know what's going on. I think it's pretty clear it is Steve Trevor. Now, a lot of people saying, well, it can't be. You can't explain how. And I'm like, guys, if this was a regular drama, then I would agree. There's no way to do it. But this is a comic book movie. There are literally 10,000 ways to explain Steve Trevor now being in 1984. If it wasn't a comic book movie, no, there wouldn't be, and it wouldn't make any sense. But this is a comic book movie. You know, lest we forget, in the last Wonder Woman movie, Wonder Woman fought this magic wizard dude, the Ares god of war, floating in the sky. When you're in that world, you have 10,000 means at your disposal to explain a guy coming back. And I'm okay with it because I think it's important to the film. Now, I'm the guy who's always complaining about fake deaths, fake deaths, fake deaths. The DCU hasn't done it nearly as much as the MCU has. Like, they did it with Superman. Yeah, they did it with Superman. But really, they did it one time out of 5 films. They did it one time out of 5 films. That's fine, as opposed to, you know, the MCU, which has done it like twice for every movie. So I will cut the DCU some slack on that if they're bringing him back. But literally 10,000 different ways to bring him back. Okay, let's move on here. Where do we go? Jake C. writes, how close to a bidding war would a bidding war get to 100 billion? Not much closer than it is now. Because the fact of the matter is this. As much as us mere mortals sit there and look at Disney and think Disney has $85 trillion in the bank, they don't. Like, as of right now, Disney's net worth is about $98 billion. Their market cap value is at about $158 billion. At some point, look, Fox simply isn't worth $100 billion. Like, at some point, you got to go, we would love to have that, but the price tag is simply too high. Like, if you come to me and say, oh, I don't know, what's something on my desk here? I'll just go with this bottle of water. And like, I'm thirsty, man, I would love a bottle of water. And I see this bottle of water and I go, oh, you know what? I would love a bottle of water right now. I'll tell you what, man, I'll give you $5. I'll give you $5, which is outrageous for a bottle of water, but still, I'll give you $5 for a bottle of water just because I'm really thirsty right now. I would love to have it. And then somebody else comes in and offers $7. So I'm thinking, well, I am really thirsty. Okay, I'll bid $8. At some point, no matter how much I would like to have this bottle of water, at some point the price tag on it gets higher than it's worth. Like, when the price, finally the other guy offers, I'll give you $275 for that bottle of water. And I'm just going to go, you know, I would love to have this bottle of water, but this bottle of water is simply not worth $275. So enjoy your bottle of water, sir. And at some point, either Comcast or Disney's going to have to do that. Getting Fox would be great, but Fox is not worth $100 billion. You're not going to recoup that. So at some point, one of these companies is going to have to go, like Disney may have to just go, look, we thought $52 billion was where a good value price for the Fox assets would be for us to buy. And much more than that doesn't make sense to us. Like, Comcast just offered 65. Fox is not worth, maybe Disney's saying this, Fox simply isn't worth us paying $68 or $69 billion for. It's worth it to us at this price, but it's not worth it to us at this price. Or maybe they do come in at 68 and then Comcast goes, you know what? We went as big as we were willing to go with $65 billion. We are not willing to go to $70 billion. I mean, another $5 billion. So at some point, one of these companies has to go, okay, we don't think the assets are worth what the other guy is bidding. So I don't expect it to get terribly much closer to 100 billion than it is now. Maybe it gets to 70, maybe it gets to 72, 73, but I can't possibly seeing it getting much closer than that. I just can't see that happening. Let's see, now watch, it goes for $200 billion. Darth Impact writes, John, being today is the 76th anniversary of the release of Bambi, I didn't even realize that. Got me thinking, do you think it can get the live action treatment? It would be amazing. I don't think so. I think, a lot of people think very fondly of Bambi. But I don't know. Bambi is not like as relevant today, nor would it translate into a live action story as well as, say, like a Lion King. Lion King is much more relevant today than Bambi is, but also it's got a very made-for-movie narrative story. Bambi, while sweet and adorable and great, I don't know that you can make a proper film out of it and be faithful to the original story. I don't know that you can. Now, it all depends. I mean, Disney may start burning through all their animated classics, and they may start looking for new things to make, and then maybe they end up in a Bambi. But honestly, I don't think they will. I would guess that we're not going to see. I'm going to guess that we're not going to see a Bambi live action. That's my guess. Again, could be wrong. Disney could do anything, but I'm going to guess no at this point. All right. Just a couple minutes more here. MuseTac Reviews writes, Halloween has a budget of $1 to $2 million. I heard somebody else say that, and I looked up for verification on that, and I could not find anything to verify that. I mean, look, Happy Death Day, which is as low budget as it gets. Happy Death Day had a budget of $5 million. I can't see Halloween being like 1/5 the cost of Happy Death Day. Like I said, I've heard other people say $1 to $2 million, but I've looked around for verification on that. I don't see anything that and if you know where it is, by all means, please email me a link. Email me a link to john@thejohncampeashow.com, because I would love to see the official verification that the budget is $1 to $2 million. I just haven't seen anything official on that yet at this point, so I don't believe that's true. Eric Blank writes, is syndrome a metaphor for toxic fandom? Oh, if you're talking about Syndrome from the original Incredibles, by the way, Incredibles is in theaters today. Go see The Incredibles 2. I've never thought about it, but you know what, Eric? That's a nice comparison. Syndrome kind of is a living, walking, talking metaphor for toxic Star Wars fans. He really is. I hadn't thought about that. That's a great observation, man. Kudos to you. Nice one. Let's see. Abel Contreras writes, it's my birthday. Happy birthday, Abel. Am I the only person waiting for Battle Angel? My jaw dropped when I saw the trailer. I can't believe I have been waiting since 2007. Well, look, I've been waiting for Alita Battle Angel for a long time because I thought James Cameron was going to direct it. And then we waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. And then James Cameron announced he's doing 87 Avatar movies. And so clearly he wasn't going to direct it. And then they brought on Robert Rodriguez to direct it. And I'll be honest, while Robert Rodriguez has made some great films in the past, lately, he's struggled, I think. Personally, I think he's struggled. And I'm going to tell you right now, that first trailer did not work for me that well. Now, it was just a first trailer. And we've seen lots of bad trailers to great movies, lots of great trailers to bad movies. So it doesn't really necessarily mean anything. But I have to admit, my enthusiasm, my excitement for Alita Battle Angel is a lot smaller than what it was a couple of years ago. I'm still curious to see it. But man, Alita Battle Angel, it may get crushed. I mean, because I'm going to bring this open again here. I just want to go over because it's worth. It opens on the same day, all right? Alita Battle Angel opens on the same day as Bumblebee, as and as Aquaman, I think. Let me just double check here to see. Alita Battle Angel, yes, opens on the exact same day as Aquaman, Bumblebee, and the John C. Reilly, Will Ferrell comedy Holmes and Watson. And it just opens 1 week after Mortal Engines and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And the very following week after Alita Battle Angel opens, Mary Poppins, y'all, opens up. Alita Battle Angel's in for a tough ride, opening against Aquaman and Bumblebee. So we'll have to kind of see where that all goes. But yeah, I'm glad you're looking forward to it, Abel. Here's hoping, fingers crossed, that it can be, Robert Rodriguez's return to glory, and it can be as good as we were all hoping it would be. I just got to admit, right now, my expectations are a little bit lower. But who knows? Let's wait and see how it turns out. And again, Abel, happy birthday, man. Let's see. Next one comes to us from, where are we? Techno Vine, who writes, Giovanni Campea, it took me 30 minutes to explain Star Wars to my friends before we saw The Last Jedi. The customers with us at Krispy Kreme also listened to my explanation. That's awesome. I love it. Actually, you know what? This happens a lot to movie fans, me being one of them, where I'd be like talking to a friend explaining a cinematic universe, whether it's Marvel, or whether explaining Battlestar Galactica, or whether explaining Star Wars, or whether explaining something or others. And then before you realize it, you notice that there's 2 or 3 people just standing close by and listening in as well and picking up on the conversation too. And that's one of the reasons why I love movies. It's one of the reasons why I love movies, because I say this all the time and it's absolutely true. We are a very diverse group of people, us human beings, but it doesn't matter what your race is, doesn't matter what your gender is, doesn't matter what your financial status is, doesn't matter what nationality you are, doesn't matter what sexual orientation you are. We all love movies. We all love movies. It's one of the greatest things in the world. You can sit down at a Krispy Kreme with a total stranger and start talking about Lord of the Rings. And it doesn't matter if that dude is, I don't know, he's from Pakistan, he's conservative politically and you're liberal politically, he's rich and you're poor, and the two of you can sit down and start talking about Lord of the Rings. That is one of the best things in the world about movies and why I love the movies so much. It's like really a connective thread amongst humanity. And I love that. So that's a cool experience you had. All right. Glitter Geek TV writes, what info do you think we'll get at SWCC? Oh, Star Wars Celebration Chicago. Okay, I'm like, did you mean SDCC? San Diego Comic-Con? SWCC. Well, I think we're going to get a bunch of stuff. News will drop there. At least I hope they do. Unfortunately, Lucas, at the last couple of celebrations, they've been pretty bad at not giving people much new news. The Star Wars Celebration London was a huge disappointment because they didn't really reveal anything. At Star Wars Celebration Orlando, they did reveal the first new trailer, but they didn't talk any Solo. They didn't talk about a lot, which is unfortunate. What I'm hoping they're going to do is give a lot more information. Not everything, but just more information on what is this Rian Johnson trilogy? What is this show? Tell us more about this show that Jon Favreau is working on. What about the Game of Thrones guys and the movies they're working on? Kathleen Kennedy once talked about how they're already making plans for future movies that will involve Rey and Finn and Poe. What are those? Give us some insight into those. Start charting a course for us and letting us know the direction Star Wars is heading. I hope they do that. That's what I think they should do. That's what I'm hoping they will do, is just give more information and kind of lay out for us. I mean, certainly there'll be a trailer for episode 9. That much is for certain. But I'm hoping that beyond that, they will spend some time to say, hey, you know what? Star Wars is in a new era right now, and we want to take a little bit of time here and show you our map and where we're heading, where our North Star is, and kind of lay the groundwork and kind of explain to everybody where everything's going. That's what I'm hoping they do. That's what I'm expecting they'll do. All right, final question of the day. And for all you guys who sent in live questions that I don't have time to get around to, don't worry. I'm going to include it in tomorrow morning's companion video. All right. Oh, and by the way, guys, in case you didn't notice, my Tag review for the new Jon Hamm, Jeremy Renner film Tag, I just put that review up this morning. Go check it out, and make sure you check out the movie. I think it's worth seeing. And the final question today comes us from Razor Edge Frisbee, who writes, what's your the favorite pop you own? Mine is either Cyber Demon from Doom, Thanos on his throne, or my Chase variant John Wick 2 pop. Well, I do like this Thanos here that I have, but can you see him? Can you see them here at all? Where are they? Where are they? Ah, there they are. Right here. You can't really see them very well, but these two right here. They were the very first 2 pops I ever got. They were a gift to me from my brother-in-law, Ray. It is Sam and Dean Winchester from Supernatural. Those are my favorite pops. Now, I do have some wonderful, some exclusives and things like that. I've got some really cool ones that I love and adore. But yeah, the Sam and Dean Winchester ones right here, these are probably my favorite because I love Supernatural and they were the first ones I got. So those are probably my favorites. All right, guys, that will do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thanks so much for being here. Hey, listen, guys, don't forget, if you enjoy my shows and you like the videos I put up, do me a favor and just go over to www.patreon.com/JohnCampea. There you'll get all the information about what does it mean to be a Patreon supporter of my YouTube channel. How does being a Patreon supporter keep these shows on the air? And also what benefits there are to being a Patreon supporter. Benefits like Star Wars Talk Tuesdays, benefits like audio-only versions of the show, benefits like the Facebook group and some other things as well. And go check it out, and then maybe you'll want to become a Patreon supporter too. If you do, awesome. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And if not, no problem. I'm just happy you're here being a film fan with us. All right, guys, that'll do it for me for today. Don't forget, I'll be back again at 2 o'clock this afternoon Pacific Standard Time for open mic. And by the way, guys, listen, I'm really getting into playing Warcraft right now. So with your permission, what I might do this afternoon for open mic is I might do a play in chat. Like, I might do open mic as I'm playing Warcraft. I've been doing that late at night before going to bed, and I'm just really in the mood to I'm just going to admit, I'm very unprofessional of me. I'm really in the mood to play a lot of Warcraft today. So with your permission, what I would like to do is be taking questions while I'm playing Warcraft today. Will you allow me that grace? I would appreciate it. So I might be doing that this afternoon too. So make sure you come back for open mic at 2 o'clock. All right, guys, thanks a lot again for being here. My name's John Campea, and until the next video, bye-bye.